If you like the story, you can support the author on Patreon. Link is in the description.
Chapter 101, Time to Manipulate an Uchiha. My hair. I kept looking at the mirror, looking at my hair, which will leave me tomorrow. Tsunade can transplant them back after the surgery, but she said that she will do it only if my hair doesn't start regrowing. But I can't just keep lamenting about it. I have to get certain things done before Tsunade wakes up Sasuke. We will be going on a date. Don't try to find us yet. Enjoy your time. Telling Jiraiya about it, we headed to home, which was destroyed, though the barriers have mostly regenerated by now. Sigh. We will have to get it built again. We entered the ruins, and I could sense a lot of negative emotions hidden. So, Zetsu have infiltrated this place given the chance? And since when I am able to sense negative emotions? Pretty nifty. But I doubt I can sense them better than Kurama, or Karin for that matter, who can see the color of chakra to determine who is good and who is bad. You removed everything important. Yoshiori-chan. Naruto nodded. Well, as for the Zetsus, it's best to not alert them for now. I will capture them all for various uses later. I looked at Naruto, and he understood what I wanted. He grabbed my waist, and reverse summoned us to New's dimension. We entered a dimension, with forests all around on an island, and a secret underground facility carefully hidden in the leaves. We don't know if it is another planet, but Karin couldn't find anyone with chakra in this tropical, maybe, island. But there was still huge amount of nature energy here, as the seals I developed work here very easily. It's surprising that I didn't have to be capable of even sensing nature energy, much less using it to be able to make barriers with it. It may be because I have good idea about it, I guess. And maybe that's why we were able to enter this dimension as well, because I had a good idea about space-time concept, along with I wrote down all the requirements I had for the dimension. Atmosphere composition similar to Earth, pressure, temperature, trees, living organisms, but not being capable of welding chakra. And most importantly, no other humans. These were necessary conditions, since we may have died in the case this dimension didn't have things necessary for surviving. Imagine getting into a dimension with very low atmospheric pressure. We would have exploded. We entered the underground secret facility, which Naruto has dug and built all by himself. After all, he didn't know any Earth-release jutsu at that time. And it took Naruto about 2 years. That says a lot about how much effort he put into it. We entered the lab, where Nu was stored. I will awaken his spirit, but later. We have more pressing concerns right now. Naruto, take out Itachi's head. Naruto took out Itachi's head, which has now started decaying. Grabbing a container filled with the nutrition solution like Nu, I dug out Itachi's eyes and stored them in it. Shiori-chan, are you okay? I blinked at the sight of the concerned face of my Naruto. Yet. I am. Why? Nothing. I shrugged. Is Naruto concerned that I may have been shaken after retrieving eyes of a dead person? Well, I will be doing a lot more from now on. Naruto, grab a weak animal for me. Bring it alive. On it. Naruto brought me an animal resembling a mouse. This will do. I drew the seals according to my new memories, and it was time to perform the most overpowered technique in Naruto. But before that, I grabbed some sheets to make some sketches. Time to predict the future this way after a lot of time. Naruto. Remain hidden, and be prepared to seal it if I am in danger. What are you going to do, Shiori-chan? I smirked at him. Necromancy. Hey? You can do that? Yes. I will teach you this soon. He excitedly nodded, and hid himself. Tiger, snake, dog, dragon, clap. Edo Tensei. The rodent started getting covered in papers, and started transforming into a dangerous individual. Uchiha Itachi, the former S-class rogue ninja who died, in the body of a rodent. I am sorry to bring you back like this, but you have messed up the future big time. I need your help to prevent Sasuke from getting mind-controlled and starting the Fourth Great Shinobi War. It's time to manipulate an Uchiha. Chapter 102, Uchiha Itachi's final appearance. Itachi's third POV. Itachi opened his eyes, but he felt significantly smaller. No, he was too small, or either Shiori in front of him was secretly an Akimichi who has used the butterfly mode to turn like a giant. There were no wings made of chakra behind her though. He didn't feel his body, but moving the legs, they didn't exactly feel human. What happened? The last thing he remembered was seeing a beast's nuts, and then nothing came to his mind. Did he die? He remembered trying to activate the Suzanu's rib cage, but was he slow, or it didn't have a noticeable effect? Itachi sighed. He is most likely dead now. But the question is, why is he here, in this form? Shiori finally spoke. I am sorry to bring you back like this, but you have messed up the future big time. I need your help to prevent Sasuke from getting mind-controlled and starting the Fourth Great Shinobi War. Itachi kept himself stoic as usual, but his mind was going through several observations and recollections. If Sasuke is 13 right now, the Fourth Shinobi War may start in 2 to 4 years according to the predictions. The Third Shinobi War lasted for about 10 years, because the village wasn't as strong as it was in the 2 previous wars. The Uzumaki clan was annihilated beforehand, the White Fang died just days after the war started, Third Hokage wasn't exactly young anymore, Tsunade stopped going to the front line somewhere in the middle of war due to some reason, but the village still had Jiraiya, 4th Hokage, Orochimaru, his father, 4 cage-level ninjas on the front line. And the whole Uchiha clan. But the one who had the least losses was Kumo, losing only the 3rd Raikage as any major ninja. By now, Kumo is undoubtedly very close to Konoha in strength. Sasuke will undoubtedly become one of the strongest ninja Konoha has. But Sasuke turning against Konoha? He remembered the previous posters. Sasuke dressing up like no Uchiha would, Izumi no longer alive to guide the second child of prophecy, whatever it is. But as Shiori put down some rough sketches, his eyes widened. Konoha exterminated the Uchiha. The masked man, Madara was saying to a 13 to 14-year-old Sasuke. But what was even more concerning was that he had another hole in his mask, with the Mangekyo Sharingan with Shisui's pattern. The next sketch was Madara and Izumi meeting. Your Edo Tensei is really useful. It even allowed me to get the Sharingan switch Itachi had hidden. Though I didn't expect you to be still alive, and offered to join Akatsuki. Your Eye of the Moon plan aligns with my goals. Nothing more. Izumi is alive? And what is this Eye of the Moon plan? And the last sketch was something that led him to the most shock. It was Sasuke, with blood dripping from his eyes, inside a Susanoo, and the entirety of Konoha was engulfed in Amaterasu. Why did it happen? Wasn't Sasuke supposed to be the second child of prophecy? Wasn't Izumi supposed to guide him? Itachi realized something. He was the one who had wiped out Izumi's memories about the conditions of Uchiha in the village before the massacre. So that's why he has messed up the future big time. The first thing he has to do is to destroy the Mangekyo Sharingans with him. But he had prepared one to break himself out of control in case he is Edo Tensei D. So Izumi managed to counter it and controlled him to give her the Sharingans? That is very unlikely, but he doesn't know what Mangekyo ability she may have. Surviving Orochimaru only implies that she had those eyes. Wasn't Shiori attacked by Orochimaru during the Chunin exams too? Maybe it wasn't her, but Izumi who attacked her. Though, why would she even do that? Do you know why Izumi attacked you? To steal my spiritual energy. Something about accessing the Pure Lands to get back her mother. Thankfully, I was able to get some of her memories, including how to use Edo Tensei. But it wouldn't be strange if she got some of my ability to see in the future as well. I can already feel my ability weakening. Itachi contemplated. To be able to see future would certainly require too large spiritual energy. And if Izumi can't just summon her mother through Edo Tensei because her corpse would have been destroyed by Amaterasu, and trying something as outrageous to bring her mother from the Pure Lands, it wouldn't be weird that she would need large amount of spiritual energy. Then it hit Itachi. Why would the failsafe he has kept against Edo Tensei will fail? Her Sharingan must have been too strong due to immense spiritual energy, or her Mangekyo may have something to do with the dead. He must destroy the Mangekyo Sharingans right now. So I want you to give the Mangekyos to me. Sadly, your whole body was burnt down with Sasuke's Amaterasu. Along with your Sharingan. It's a good thing that Naruto was able to seal it before there was nothing left to bring you here. Sasuke has already used his Mangekyo a lot of times, Susanoo 2 times actually as far as I know. He would get blind for sure if he doesn't implant another Mangekyo. But I am not too willing to help him, knowing that he may try to harm my Naruto with that power. So I want some sort of assurance. You get what I mean? Oh. Sasuke has already awakened the Mangekyo? Zetsu didn't include this in his report. He may be working with Madara. And Madara may try to get his hands on Sasuke. No. He definitely will. And it may be possible that he may manipulate Sasuke even without Shisui's eye. And most of all, Itachi didn't want Sasuke to go blind. How do I trust you that you are Shiori, not someone else? After all, it was the first time he was detecting chakra from her, and he wasn't familiar with her chakra signature because she didn't have one before. She looked at the bushes, and Naruto came from it. He held her arms towards him, and he gave her a hug. And a kiss. Do you trust me now? I do. He summoned 3 crows, each with a Mangekyo Sharingan. The 2 with similar patterns, they will be compatible with Sasuke. The other one, just let it go near Sasuke, and it will make sure that Sasuke won't turn against Konoha. Then, please implant the 2 eyes to Sasuke. He then summoned another crow with another Mangekyo Sharingan. Make Sasuke look into this Sharingan if he turns against Konoha despite all that. And if he doesn't need to, use it on Izumi. Alright. So, I just swap Sasuke's eyeballs with these? Or combine them or something? No. You need to combine the eye lenses together. Oh. That sounds complex. Good thing my sister is good in medical ninjutsu. Itachi finally felt his tension easing. It was a good thing that he kept his father's Mangekyo Sharingan instead of destroying them. This way, Sasuke wouldn't lose his light. I am going to release the jutsu now. I will leave it to you then. As Itachi felt his soul leaving, he felt both relieved and sad. He wanted Sasuke to kill him, but he couldn't really have everything when he messed up so badly. He tried to do everything himself, and that's what caused the problem. So he will leave this to Shiori. While he didn't know much about her, he felt like he could trust her due to her love for Naruto. This was the last time Itachi appeared in this story, and now, Shiori had 3 pairs of Mangekyo Sharingan. Chapter 103, Minato. Minato fully expected to meet Naruto one day. He had placed his chakra in Naruto's seal so that he can meet Naruto one day, and help him to reapply the seal. He would hear how his son lived, if he was alright, if he didn't fall to the vices that Kushina didn't want him to fall into. Wasting money, alcohol until 20, and a bad woman. But as far as he saw, Naruto didn't know how much money is too much or too less, already had a girlfriend, and thankfully, no alcoholic traits. Well, Naruto called her his wife. Anyway, when Minato gained consciousness, his immediate thought was that Naruto must have entered the 8th tail, and was close to releasing the seal. But he was surprised to see that Kyuubi wasn't doing anything to get out of the seal or manipulating Naruto. It was focused on something else. As Naruto noticed him, he immediately asked for help to save his wife. Naruto didn't know yin release, so Minato coordinated their chakra to help her in her mental battle. Thankfully, she succeeded partially, and remained safe and alive. He wasn't ready to see Naruto kissing her though. He is 12. I got my first kiss when I was 17. I am J. Cough concerned. He got to know about her as Naruto told him his life story. Apparently, her name is Shiori, and they have been together since they were 3 years old. Shiori practically raised Naruto. From reading, writing, cooking for him, to giving him ideas on how to train in certain things like raise nan, chakra control and wind release. She got him a taijutsu teacher, Might Guy, whom Minato remembered as Kakashi's eternal rival. She taught him Fuinjutsu, in a script that Minato found to be genius. She got shadow clones for him from by taking advantage of Fugaku, and she told him about the shadow clones training method. That's a thing only Uzumakis with their monstrous chakra pool can do. Kushina was really clumsy at anything other than Fuinjutsu, so Minato himself had suggested her this training method. She ended up becoming an elite jonin by the age of 18. She was brash, hot-headed, yet kind and caring. He thought that Naruto will have the same qualities as her. Kushina had said that she doesn't want Naruto to inherit her date Bane. It doesn't look like he did. Minato felt really grateful to Shiori. Naruto told him that most of the people in the village avoid him. Initially, many openly hated him. One of the villagers had even tore the first gift Shiori gave him. But now, they just avoid him, and fear him because he has grown so strong over the years. And he has grown to not care about strangers. I just need Shiori-chan. Minato sighed. For Minato, the village was as important to him as Kushina was. But considering the circumstances Naruto grew up in, it is understandable that he wouldn't care about the village. And Minato won't really try to convince Naruto otherwise. He sealed half of the Kyuubi in Naruto to protect him. If he had let Kyuubi die along with Kushina that day, it would have reformed one day, and Naruto would become the Jinchuriki either way. But he will have more problems than Kushina since he wasn't a full-blooded Uzumaki, and a normal seal wouldn't be able to contain it. Moreover, the Death Reaper seal along with 8 triograms is an incredibly powerful seal. It can't be opened without the key. It can be loosened, but not broken. The masked man wouldn't be able to do anything to get the Kyuubi until Naruto himself unlocks the seal with the key. And most of all, he believed that Naruto will be able to master the Kyuubi like Killer Bee did. He would need all the power he can to defeat that person who called himself Madara. Space-time jutsu is very difficult to learn and counter. Regarding Naruto's wife, that's not really a healthy relationship they have. He didn't want his son to experience nirvana at the meager age of 12, thank God Kakashi interrupted them, and then Tsunade-sama and Jiraiya-sensei. But Minato wouldn't try to interfere. As a good dad, he will respect his son's decisions. The only thing he wanted was for Naruto to be happy. By his estimates, he has about a year to last inside Naruto's mindscape before his chakra gets exhausted, even with the support Naruto's chakra has been providing. In that 1 year, he has to teach Naruto the Flying Thunder God. The Tavyutki which lets Naruto and Shiori to summon each other is a good start. Flying Thunder God, while uses summoning, it also requires ability to sense the markers, and to know on which marker one wants teleport. And they have to be very fast about it. He was actually surprised that Shiori was able to make herself and Naruto each other's summons. The seals in Tavyutki was actually functioning very close to the Flying Thunder God, where the user is his own summon. The problem with it was that it needed very long seals, which wouldn't be possible to just mark everywhere. He was really impressed with Naruto's wife. He was sure that Kushina would like her too. Rich, hardworking, genius, a seer of sorts, and really caring towards Naruto. Though, that crazy-like behavior after waking up, talking about doing bad things, ripping off Samehada's consciousness, ripping off Mikato's older son's Sharingan without a care, Edo tenseiing him to get 2 more pairs of Mangekyo Sharingan. And that sinister smile. Naruto. Can I talk to Shiori-san for a bit? Chapter 104, Meeting Father-in-Law. After Naruto caught the crows and dug out the Sharingans, I secured them in the nutrition solution. I have 3 pairs of Mangekyo Sharingan now. Shisui's, Itachi's, and Fugaku's. Shisui had Kota Amatsukami, which will be too useless for me because of the ridiculous cooldown. Itachi's Amaterasu is fodder, and Tsukuyomi won't actually do anything against Nagato, Madara, and the Otsutsukis. And I don't really know the abilities of Fugaku's eyes. Which will suit my Naruto the best. TCH. I will have to test Fugaku's Mangekyo to see what it has. Shisui's and Itachi's are useless and will just waste his chakra. I sighed, and started heading into the laboratory to finally wake up Nu. But Naruto stopped me. Shiori-chan. I forgot to tell something important. What could it be? Dad wants to talk to you. Oh. Okay. Minato wants to talk to me? Is he able to extend his stay in Naruto's mindscape for plot? Don't tell me. He saw all that R12 stuff, and saw that I dug out 3 pairs of Sharingans even by Edo tenseiing Itachi. I grabbed Naruto's head, and touched mine on his. Let me talk to him privately. Naruto fell asleep, and I entered his mindscape. Izumi's Mangekyo ability is really versatile, no matter how toned down it is without the physical Mangekyo eyes. As I opened my eyes, I was in our palace, but with clear water instead of the floor. Oh, so my Naruto's mindscape is our home? And is that my portrait there, and there? How cute! I walked towards the place where all the energy was coming out. I arrived in front of a massive cage. My eyes widened by how huge it was. And Kurama's flapping tails too. The wind was making it hard to keep my eyes open. And near the seal, Minato was sitting, looking at me anxiously. It's the first time we meet, Kyuubi-sama, father-in-law. Kurama, still not facing my direction, just humphed and stopped flapping his tails. And then, it laid down, feigning sleep. But in less than a second, he faced me, with eyes bigger than my whole body. Why don't you come closer? I have a present for you. You just need to tear this paper. Kyuubi-sama, before that, I have a question. Did you see and hear what I did with Na? I saw. And I don't want to see. I am sure you don't want me to as well. So how about you come here and tear this paper? That's a problem. If Kurama who is inside saw it all, then father-in-law who is outside the seal. I glared at both of them. Cut off your senses when I am around Naruto. Before I could finish my sentence, Kurama interrupted. I will do that. You just need to tear this paper. I am sorry. But I can't let you out. I will tear you apart. Completely. But I can try to make it so that you have a body outside Naruto which you can possess to roam around. I can just try. I am not sure if I will be able to do that. I don't want him to be awake inside Naruto when I am doing this and that to him. Kurama humphed, and turned back to read the mangas with massive pages. So Naruto has been able to create a library in his mindscape like the fanfics, and even able to give it to Kurama. My Naruto is a genius. And speaking of genius, I turned to father-in-law, who has been just standing awkwardly. I don't want you to interfere in our life. We are happy the way we are. And if you want to talk as fourth Hokage, I am not going to listen to you. I can feel his spirit connected to some strands of Naruto's chakra, acting as a life support system. If he tries to interfere, I will have to force Naruto to cut off the support. No. Naruto will do it willingly. I am much greater to him than his already dead father. Ah. No need to be guarded. I am here to talk as Naruto's father. Your father. I can't complain much about your way of doing things, since you did so much for Naruto. Of course. So may I assume that you won't interfere? Why is my speech slowly becoming formal? Since I am talking to my father-in-law? Can you not, do that, so young? I stared at him with my face blank. You guys are so young. It's bad Titu. I stared as Minato started stuttering and looking away from me. I sighed. Don't worry about that. I was just so overwhelmed with emotions that I wanted to ravage Naruto, to have him deep inside. I don't want to listen. He started blushing hard at that. Hearing about his son's sex life must be pretty big deal for him. As for not doing it, I wouldn't until Naruto is 15. I mean, all the way. I will certainly do all kinds of other things to my Naruto though. Our bodies aren't developed enough to truly enjoy doing it. I want my first time to be special, not painful. But as said, all other things which I have restrained myself from doing till now, I can't control those urges now. And I certainly don't want father-in-law living inside my Naruto's mindscape. Are you going to live here? Don't worry about that. If I don't use any jutsu here, I can sustain myself for about a year at most. I just want to teach Naruto Flying Thunder God. I won't disturb you guys. It would have been better if Naruto was able to just absorb his knowledge like I did from Izumi. But Naruto and Minato are very different from me and Izumi. Izumi was only able to absorb me because of her Mangekyo ability, and I was only able to do the same because she had that malleable spirit she has formed. Even now, Izumi is still the core of Shizumi's spirit, while I am the dominant one, slowly erasing her. But it may take more than 2 years to fully gain control of Shizumi's spirit without that me and Izumi combining. I was thinking of Edo Tenseiing father-in-law after I have absolute control over Shizumi's spirit to teach Naruto if he isn't able to learn it. But I guess, it wouldn't be necessary. So, I nodded. Fine. But when I am with Naruto, shut off your senses, you can do that, can't you? It will take chakra. And that will significantly shorten. You living in your son's head is already creepy enough. Don't worry about it. If Naruto isn't able to learn it in time, I will Edo Tensei you. Just tell me where the Uzumaki Mask Temple is. I am in Shinigami's stomach. It will be impossible to. I will be able to do it. I said with conviction, making Minato to sigh. Alright. Yes. Disappear from my Naruto really quick. But. What do you plan to do with the Mangekyo Sharingans? This time, Minato's face was serious. What will I do? I wonder. Well, Itachi's Mangekyo is going to Suzuki. I don't know about the other two, but those pairs will be kept safe here for the time being. Anything else? I wonder if I can make Shin Uchiha clones with so much Mangekyo? My other body must have retrieved him by now. I don't know if the Mangekyos will get cloned too. More importantly, I don't know how to clone people. It's not like if I just take some DNA and put it into nutrition solution, a body will grow up on its own. Though, maybe the second Mangekyo ability of rapid healing can help? I don't know. But that is worth a try. Father-in-law looked at me suspiciously for a moment, and then sighed with a look of defeat. All right. I won't question about what you want to do with them. Just don't do bad things, okay? Yes, father. Father? He started rubbing the back of his head, clearly happy that I called him happy. Well, he will become grandfather in some years. All right. I will be heading out now. Promise that you won't peek. If you get bored, read the manga. I am not sharing. Kurama glared at me. Geez. He looks absolutely terrifying. Then father, deal with your boredom by yourself. You don't want to be a bad father who disturbs his children's bedroom. I won't. I understand. He became a blushy mess at that. I will leave then. Bye-bye. Bye. Chapter 105, Butterfly Flapping Its Wings. Third POV. While Shiori was preparing to implant some of her spiritual energy into Nu, so that it may wake up, things have gone way off track. We finally meet, Shin-kun. Izumi said, but the words were of Shiori. Inside his cell, a 15 to 16-year-old boy with pale white skin, and 2 sharingans embedded on one of his arm, felt chills as a snake coiled around him. Warg. He screamed in pain as the snake bit him just below the back of his neck. A purple cursed seal appeared there, and the snake started seeping into his body. He immediately fell unconscious, and Karin carried him on her shoulder like a sack of potatoes. Let's move before Orochimaru gets news of this. Karin didn't say anything, and just followed her as ordered. But her eyes were emotionless, as if she wasn't in control of her body. Is Suijutsu alive? Shiori asked in Izumi's mind, and Izumi nodded. While Orochimaru had absorbed his Kekai Genkai in her body, they didn't really need to absorb him completely. She may have absorbed Sakon and Yukon and a lot of Orochimaru's ninjas completely to strengthen her spiritual energy, but Orochimaru didn't allow to fully absorb the strong ones like Yugo, Kimimaro, and Suijutsu, who had great value as research too. And absorbing Kimimaro would have been dangerous anyway. Establish a base in the deserts of Suna. After that, we will head to Land of Demons with Karin. Yes, Master. Kabuto. It seems that you gave me wrong information about how much time it will take for Jiraiya to arrive. Orochimaru said in a chilling tone to an injured Kabuto who couldn't get up from the bed. Orochimaru-sama, Jiraiya entered some strange mode, and immediately sensed me. I almost got killed in one kick. Thankfully, I was able to escape, but fell unconscious before I could inform you. So Jiraiya entered Sage mode. Hey. With this body, maybe I should try to enter a full Sage mode instead of the knockoff version with Cursed Seal. But before that, did you manage to awaken it, Orochimaru-sama? Watching Tsunade's despair as she got killed just after I killed Shizune didn't work. It seems that I will have to go after Jiraiya now. Orochimaru grumbled. This Mangekyo was special, as one of its ability was soul-based. So that power went away with Izumi leaving her body. And her second Mangekyo is also not working. It didn't awaken even after he saw Tsunade die, as his sword pierced her heart. Even she wouldn't survive that unless she modified her body like him. Maybe he would need to witness a death from very close? Izumi-chan didn't see her mother dying though. Orochimaru stared at Kabuto as he was healing himself. Maybe I don't need to chase after Jiraiya after all. Kabuto. Yes, Orochimaru-sama. Kabuto looked at Orochimaru, but Orochimaru remained extremely silent. Orochimaru stared in Kabuto's eyes, and for some reason, Kabuto felt a chill run down his spine. Orochimaru stared. Orochimaru stared. Orochimaru stared. Kabuto ran. Orochimaru chuckled. Kukiku, Kabuto, why are you running away? Kabuto dragged his body from the bed, and tried to run as fast as he can. His chest wasn't fully healed yet, he couldn't properly breathe yet. But he ran. I am going to die. I am going to die. I am going to die. Orochimaru took out some kunaus, and gleefully walked towards Kabuto, who was too slow for Orochimaru. Today is the day someone is going to be killed by a kunau. Orochimaru-sama. You can't awaken it by killing me. You don't care about me to have any effect on you. You are wrong, Kabuto. I do care about you, maybe even more than Jiraiya. Kukiku. Orochimaru playfully spun the kunaus, and threw them the way he witnessed Itachi using them. Kabuto blocked a kunau with his chakra scapels, but another kunau came from above and stabbed his shoulder. Ugh! Kabuto ignore it, and tried to run. But snakes came from the ground and coiled around his legs, causing him to fall down. And no. Orochimaru-sama. Don't do it. You wouldn't find a better spy and assistant than me. That's true. But Mangekyo Sharingan is much more useful than you. Saying that, Orochimaru turned him to lay down while showing his chest. And Orochimaru stabbed Kabuto's heart with his kunai. The life in Kabuto's eyes started dimming, but he was barely alive by covering his heart with chakra to prevent it from exploding inside his body. But he was fastly losing control over his chakra. Kukyaku. You had talent, Kabuto. Talent to maybe even surpass Tsunade one day. Regrettably, I need those eyes. Orochimaru removed the sword, leading some blood from Kabuto's heart to spill inside his body, since controlling chakra was getting harder and harder for him. I doubt you can survive getting hit in the head though. This time, Orochimaru stabbed Kabuto's head, rendering him dead. In the pool of blood, Kabuto got killed by Orochimaru. But looking at his reflection in his sword, his eyes particularly, Orochimaru fumed. Why? Why didn't I awaken them? Orochimaru threw his sword on the ground in a fit of rage. Just why can't he awaken Mangekyo? Orochimaru, a heartless monster like you will never awaken Mangekyo. Jiraiya's parting words continuously rang in his head. No. It must be that I didn't care much about Sensei, Tsunade, and Kabuto. But Jiraiya. Whether I like it or not, you were an annoying, loser friend. So help this friend. Jiraiya. Now you are my last hope. Orochimaru contemplated his next move as he looked at Kabuto's dead body. He stabbed him again with a kunai. It really seems like no one dies from a kunai. You are awake, Sasuke. Sasuke groggily woke up, rubbing his eyes as he felt his vision blurry than usual. His mind now felt empty, as he has completed his revenge by burning down Itachi. He blinked several times, still finding his vision a little blurry. But he realized that he wasn't in hospital. It was a really dark place with a fire torch as the only source of light. And the walls weren't white. He snapped his head towards the voice he heard when he woke up. A man with a swirl mask was standing before him. And Sharingan shined from the only eye hole the mask had. I am Uchiha Madara. Chapter 106, Time to learn how to make ramen. Shiori-chan, take a rest. Yet. I sighed as I looked over Nu, my second pet. First, if I consider how long I have been trying things on it. Like my snake, whom I have decided to call Naga, which is present in Buddhism and Hinduism for being godlike beings, who protect Dharma, and in this case, me. But as for Nu, I haven't thought of a name yet, since it hasn't even woken up. It absorbed a bit of my spiritual energy easily, but it didn't even stir a bit. Sigh. I guess there is something missing after all. Otherwise, wouldn't it be incredibly easy to make clones and all? Naruto. Let's go on a date. Before I have to go through that surgery. With the too advanced medical field of this world, it wouldn't take long for me to regrow my hair. But I still hate it. My long, lustrous hair that I take good care of. Naruto performed the reverse summoning, and brought us back to Konoha. Don't be sad, Shiori-chan. I don't like it when you cry. Naruto said as he wiped my tears. Since I have come to this world and become conscious of my reincarnation, I have not really cried that much. I cried when I got to know that I can't use chakra, and that was when I was 3 and had the effects of a baby brain. Actually, parting ways with my hair even for a moment feels more terrible than being unable to use chakra until now. He held my hand tightly as we started walking towards a place I knew too well, the first place in Naruto's mind after our home, which is currently being rebuilt by Tajuna. It's a good thing that I don't have to pay for anything due to insurance. Rain started raining, with wind winding and the pleasant smell of soil in the monsoon smelling. I felt my mind relax as I felt the warmth of Naruto's hand. The growth in my height has slowed down considerably, and Naruto's has just hit his growth spurt in full gear. He was 5.75 centimeters shorter than me before I fell unconscious, and he is just around 4.75 centimeters shorter in just 15 days. But his hand is already bigger than mine. And warm. As my fingers were entangled with his, I felt like giggling like a little girl in love. Hee hee. You cheered up, hey. Yet. I was just thinking about how your fingers are so much longer than mine. It makes me want to lick them. Yet. Phew, how cute of my Naruto to blush like this. How his cheeks have turning red. We have arrived, Naruto. I chuckled as my Naruto didn't notice that we arrived at his favorite shop. But my mood instantly soured as I saw Jiraiya at our place. There is no way I am going to let him take away my Naruto from me. Naruto. He is a leecher, who peeks in the women's bath all the time. It's best to not get too much associated with him. As I said that, Naruto took out the Ika Ika limited edition he had borrowed from Kakashi after he gave one to Gaara. And then, he threw the book at his face. Gah! What the hell are you doing? Don't disturb our date. I warned him as I put him under a genjutsu of being surrounded by women. Jiraiya had said that he is bad at genjutsu, but it wouldn't be that hard for him to break out of it. The question is, does he want to? Hi. I am Jiraiya the Gallant. Apparently not. Ignoring him, we entered the ramen shop. Welcome. Chicken soup ramen coming. We sat beside each other, still holding hands. The world didn't matter to me as I felt myself losing into Naruto's warm and caring gaze. I will feed you today, Shiori-chan. Ah, you are so cute, then I will also feed on you. I misspoke, but it didn't matter to me about that. Old man took a gasped. Naruto moved closer to my face, and I could feel my cheeks burning as his innocent eyes were locked into mine. As his lips were just few cms away from mine. I leaned closer, and gave him a gentle kiss. I love you, my Naruto. I love you so much. So much that I want to lock us up together inside a palace and never come out. I want to make every inch of your body and mind to be devoted to me and me only. Not even Raimnoi. Not even Guy-sensei. I love you too, Shiori-chan. I swear that I wouldn't let anything happen to you again. I felt chills of pleasure as I heard Naruto's icy voice. That's my Naruto. I felt myself blushing like crazy as Naruto fixed my beloved hair on my face, which I was allowing to act as it pleased for today. He grabbed my shoulders tightly, as if wanting to never let them go, and cough. Your ramen is here. Raimnoi slammed the bowls on the table while looking away. And muttering something along those lines of kids these days. I looked at ramen, Naruto looked at ramen. And the next moment I blinked, I was sitting on Naruto's lap. Here, say ah. I wanted to say ah, as I felt something pocking my butt. But I held it in. These kinds of things are for bedroom. I obediently opened my mouth, as my Naruto gently put chopsticks in my mouth, as I sucked the noodles soaked in soup. Sadly though, some of the soup got dropped on Naruto's hands. Don't worry. I will suck it out. I said in a sing-song tone as I took Naruto's hand close to my mouth. It looks and smells so delicious. And Naruto's blushing face too. I first licked his hand to treat my Naruto from possible burns due to the soup, which isn't really a possibility since it is Naruto. Does it sting, my Naruto? A lot. Please continue what you are doing. My Naruto said with a painful voice, so how could I ignore his plea? I took in 3 of his fingers. I coiled my tongue around them, soaking them in my saliva. I felt a surge of pleasure as Naruto moved his fingers inside my mouth. Alright. That's enough. Please don't do this on my shop. Sadly we got kicked out of the shop. I guess it's finally time for me to learn how to make ramen. Chapter 107, Volume 3 Part 1 Epilogue. Shiori's POV. Are you ready for the surgery? Tsunade asked me while I was on the operation table, holding Naruto's hand. Will it leave a scar? No. At least that's good. I will be going offline for some hours, Shiori too. Good luck on the operation. I have secured Karin and Shin. We are now headed towards Suijutsu. I cut off the mental link between me and the other me, ready to go for the operation. Hokage-sama, I want to retire from being a ninja, partially for now. I want to restart earning money to become a princess. Though, I will fully retire when I make it to a chunin. Alright. Tsunade readily agreed for some reason. But well, now that Hiruzen is gone, I can finally start going into business and earn more money, besides selling seals and ripping off Hiruzen. I know for sure that Tsunade wouldn't be that easygoing like Hiruzen. And I don't have to go to many missions like walking someone's dog. And I don't really like fighting and putting my life at risk. Not for Konoha or some snobba noble who wants ninja escorts. Naruto, leave the room. Tsunade said, and I nodded to him. Be safe, Shiori-chan. After a soft kiss, Naruto left the operation room. I held my breath as Tsunade gave me a chloroform to inhale. I am going to be bald. I don't want it to be shaved while being conscious. Don't throw my hair. Give it all to Naruto, okay? No need to be scared, brat. And Naruto already told me to do that. I will make a wig out of my hair for the time being. I can't walk around with a bald head. I looked at the bottle, opened its cap, and took a deep breath. My eyes closed as a new chapter of my life was about to begin. Chapter 108, Volume 3 Part 2 Prologue. I want Marie. Anything for you, Shiori-chan. Then can you make some clones, and you know. Multi-shadow clone jutsu. Come and save your wife. I blinked as I opened my eyes. Sigh. Such a good dream got interrupted. I slowly got up in the familiar VIP room of the hospital. But I froze as I didn't see any strand of my hair hanging in front of my head. I quickly woke up and went to see the mirror, and tears started forming in my eyes. I am now bald. I will find someone who can make a wig for me. In a ninja village, it shouldn't be too hard, given that they infiltrators would definitely require wigs for long-term missions or when transformation jutsu wouldn't do the job. Look at the bright side, Shiori-chan. I didn't shave my birth hair when I was a baby. It is a practice from early Vedic period, so it must be beneficial in some way. Maybe it has something to do with getting vitamin D to strengthen the soft head of babies? Well, I am an early teen right now, so I don't know if it will benefit me much. And I already eat enough eggs and drink milk that vitamin D won't be deficient in me. Oh. You woke up. I looked away from the mirror and looked at the person in front of me. It was Sasuke. No. It looked like Sasuke. But I could feel evil intentions oozing from him, from it. What the hell is Zetsu doing here? Chapter 109, Sasuke killed her? Third POV. How is the process of looking for new members going? Pain asked Madara, as he, Pain and Konan were discussing things to do going forward. Itachi and Kisame were a huge loss. Without Kisame's chakra reserves, operating the Gedo Mazo will be difficult. Konan said, with a stoic face as always. Orochimaru is still alive, with the power of Sharingan now. But if he is alive, who is that person, who has the same face as Kyuubi Jinchuriki's girlfriend? She detected and killed one of Zetsu's informant, which should have been impossible unless it is an Uzumaki with special abilities. Like Kushina. Without Zetsu, she would have recognized it was me 12 years ago. Obito frowned under his mask. Due to that full-blooded Uzumaki in Konoha, Zetsu hasn't been able to keep an eye on it easily. Only when she went unconscious that Zetsu could enter Konoha. And someone with clear connections to Orochimaru now has the ability to detect them, and even stolen a Zetsu that was keeping an eye on what was happening when Nine Tails chakra broke out in large quantities. And that ability may have been stolen from Shiori. I am in the process of recruiting Sasuke Uchiha, Itachi's brother. I believe we should see that person with connections to Orochimaru. If she joins, that's fine. But if she doesn't, we have to kill her. Obito informed Pain, while thinking about Sasuke, and the possible identity of that person. It may be Izumi, but that's unlikely because Orochimaru has clearly overtaken her. Unless there is a Mangekyo ability involved. He has to definitely kill Orochimaru now, and possibly that person if she refuses to join Akatsuki. They are too dangerous to be left alive. I see. But considering the amount of chakra that person has, we may have to push the time to start our main goal further. Kisame was the most essential person in activating Gedo Mazo. Obito nodded at Pain's words, annoyed that he will have to wait longer. To seal all the bijus in the Gedo Mazo, it will require a humongous amount of chakra to activate its sealing technique, which would have taken about 3 years to achieve if Kisame was present. Pain can't waste chakra on that, and Baijuyu chakra doesn't meet the requirement for some reason. He has already checked it with the Three Tails. That's a really major setback for him. It would take a much longer time to create the perfect world in which Rin will be there. For him. I will be heading off then. I will take care of recruiting Uchiha Sasuke, you take care of recruiting that unknown person. Pain and Konan nodded, and Obito left via Kamui. To where Sasuke was. Even if he doesn't agree right now, he will soon. After all, he has made plans for that. Sasuke's third POV. I am Uchiha Madara. Uchiha was exterminated because of suspicion and suppression from Konoha. Konoha forced Itachi to kill Uchiha with his own hands, but he couldn't kill you. He asked for my help. And while I took care of the police force, Itachi took care of the rest of the clan. That person who claimed to be Madara, his words from 2 days ago were constantly ringing in his ears. Everything now added up in Sasuke's mind. How a single Itachi, how strong he may have been, was able to massacre the whole clan as a 13-year-old, at Sasuke's current age. If there were tensions going on between Uchiha and Konoha, it all made sense at how his parents didn't put any struggle. He felt intense hatred for Konoha. He wanted to destroy it all. Yet, he also felt a sentence from Shiori ringing in his mind. When she was going to start lessons on mental fuinjutsu. Keep your mind neutral, and while not ignoring your emotional part of the mind, keep rational part of the mind the driver to use that emotional part and the larger spiritual energy it has. Keep your mind neutral. He hasn't been able to progress in making the second mental seal he was learning after the sleeping tag since the Forest of Death. It's not like he didn't understand the concept of the interrogation seal to extract information from other person's mind. It was surprisingly easy to understand, even more so because of his first Mangekyo Sharingan ability. But he still wasn't able to make the seal, even now. With the meditation he has been doing for a day to calm down, he has reached to at least some conclusions. Attacking Konoha is meaningless. Even with his Mangekyo, and his blurring vision, he didn't have the confidence of not dying if he made Naruto his enemy. His own seals aside, he can use most of the complex seals made by Shiori as well. If he can capture Orochimaru in a water bottle, he doesn't even want to think what will happen if Naruto wants to kill him. And that red swirling chakra covering Naruto along with 5 tails when they were fighting Orochimaru with the third Hokage? He would get burned just by touching it. So joining an organization which actually intends to capture Naruto, as he has heard from reading Attack his lip movement when he was hiding to get the best chance at killing him. No way. He will get revenge on Konoha, but no way in hell he will join this organization. And there is no way he is trusting this Madara who wouldn't show his face. While investigating the clan records, it described Madara as arrogant, battle-thirsty, and even fought the first Hokage alone during the end of Warring Clans era when most of the Uchiha surrendered to the Senju after death of Izuna, who looked too much like Sasuke himself. In his mother's diary, she mentioned Sasuke Sarutobi, after whom Sasuke was named. He was the 5th strongest person of his time, after Hashirama Tobirama and Madara Izuna. But according to the clan records, Madara one-shot him with genjutsu, and didn't even bother to kill him because he was disappointed at how weak he was compared to Hashirama, for someone who was called the 5th strongest person. The descriptions of that Madara didn't match with this one. But most of all, his first Mangekyo was telling him that he wasn't telling the truth. But he wasn't lying as well. It seems that with hatred that he felt that day, the power of his Mangekyo Sharingan increased, even allowing him to see faint traces of souls. Not completely, but enough to work as a lie detector much more powerful than a regular Sharingan. He activated his Mangekyo Sharingan as he saw the swirling patterns, indicating that Madara was arriving. He had used Amaterasu on him that day after thinking that he was kidnapped, but he just phased through it. If he could just touch him one time, with the sleeping tag, his Susanoo sword, or Amaterasu, he would be able to achieve one of the milestones in his revenge. Konoha can wait for now, it didn't directly kill his clan. This fake Madara killed them directly. So he will start with him first. I heard an interesting news, Sasuke. You were declared rogue ninja after you attacked Shiori, and killed Karin Uzumaki. Chapter 110, Attack. 3rd POV. Oh. You woke up. Shiori looked at Sasuke, who was radiating negative spiritual energy, and her mind immediately went to recognizing it as Zetsu. Sasuke will never come to her hospital room before Naruto. He wouldn't be allowed to as well. She covered her head with her hands, trying to act while preparing to lick the summoning seal on her forearm, and buying time. What is Zetsu doing here anyway? How did you enter my VIP ward? I can summon NA. Don't overexert yourself, you just had your surgery. The next thing Shiori noticed, Sasuke was already at her throat with a kunao, ready to slit her throat. So fast. Ne-chan. Before she could dodge, golden chains plunged through Sasuke, stopping him in his tracks. Shiori swiftly moved away from Sasuke, and as she was going to lick to summon Naruto, her face turned into horror as Karin was wrapped in a Zetsu. Karin. Naruto summoning. But she was too late. A huge explosion went off from that Zetsu, and Shiori flew away from the hospital window. Naruto caught her midair and moved away from the explosion. He hurriedly checked Shiori, who had huge burns in her arms since she was shielding herself from the explosion, and unconscious. The hospital's roof was blown away, while killing all the patients on the top floor, and the patients directly below. What the hell happened? Naruto thought, but parried an attack of Kunao's that were coming for Shiori. What the hell are you doing, Shisuke? Naruto shouted as he made a number of shadow clones to pursue a running Sasuke, while he remained with Shiori to take her to a safe location. Tsunade arrived before them, along with Yujao. Naruto. Let me heal her. And I will follow the assailant. Yujao said with hatred, and followed Naruto's clones. Activating the healing jutsu, Tsunade immediately treated the burns, carefully healing her to not leave any marks. After a minute, Naruto received memories from some of his clones, telling him that Sasuke just disappeared into the ground, and became undetectable. Calm down, brat. You are disturbing me in healing her. Naruto realized that he was leaking Kyuubi's chakra, which wasn't harming Shiori, but harming Tsunade and himself. He took a deep breath and put his fingers on his raging vessels in the right side of his neck, a technique Shiori-chan has taught him to calm down. The red chakra receded back into him, and his eyes returned to normal. After a few seconds, Shiori's burns were completely healed, leaving behind pinkish skin. In some days, it will turn into normal. She wasn't hurt that much, except the burns on her arms and some muscle tear and cuts in the back due to getting blasted off through the window. She may have back and arm pain for a few days, but she is alright otherwise. Naruto sighed in relief, but frowned because of the peculiarity of this attack. Why would Shinosuke even attack her in broad daylight? Well, one thing is for sure. Naruto will hunt him down and kill him. Let's go to the office right now. Naruto nodded, and carried Shiori to the Hokage office, following behind Tsunade. Inside Hokage office, Shizuan, Yujao, and Kakashi were present, with an uneasy expression. Shizuan was healing Kakashi's arm, which got slightly burnt while escaping from the hospital as he was admitted due to chakra exhaustion from continuous missions. Shizuan, report. The hospital is almost blown away, 32 patients, 13 nurses and 2 doctors dead. Kakashi-san managed to save 3 doctors and 3 patients in his ward, but Karin Uzumaki, who was visiting Shiori, is dead. Yujao's breath hitched. Karin was her most talented student, she died? Naruto was also shocked, and barely controlled his anger. Shizuan, even after sensing the tense environment, continued. And the culprit was Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto completed for her. Chapter 111, Karin Uzumaki. Karin was a truly unfortunate person. She was born in Kusa, never knowing who her father was. Not that she wanted a father. Her mother was enough for her. But ever since she was conscious, she only knew sadness. She saw her mother suffer, how big scary men barged into her home to bite her mother. But her mother kept her smile, saying she was okay. Instead, she asked Karin if she was all right. She wasn't. And if that wasn't enough, her mother left for the hospital one day, and never returned. Scary men barged into her home again, and this time, took Karin to the hospital forcibly. She was told that her mother was dead, but wasn't even allowed to see her dead body. Not before dozens of big men bit her hand, no matter how much she cried, no matter how much she screamed. She even tried to jump in the river, no longer wanting to live. But apparently, she wasn't even allowed to die. The men caught her, and started monitoring her all the time. She got the worst food, worst water, the one which was a waste after washing rice. She really cursed why she was born with this special body and chakra, not even letting her die from the poor conditions. But one day, it all changed. A white-haired man entered her hut, and asked if she wanted to get away from here, to go to her cousin. She didn't know that she had a cousin. She didn't know that she had a last name, Uzumaki. Anything was better than that place, so she left with the white-haired guy, who introduced himself as Jiraiya. She watched as her hut was burnt down by Jiraiya to remove the traces, but she didn't feel any attachment to it. Her mother wasn't there, it didn't have any value. It only reminded her of pain and suffering. She then arrived in Konoha, a big ninja village. She was scared that her condition would worsen here, despite how much that man tried to convince her. But his chakra was bright. He wasn't lying to her. He didn't have any ill intentions towards her. That's why she agreed to come with him in the first place. Then she met her said cousin, Naruto Uzumaki. He had bright yellow chakra, too bright than any person she had encountered. Yet there was dark purplish thing surrounding his chakra, which only mixed in with his chakra over time. She met another person. Shiori, Naruto's wife. Karin couldn't see her chakra easily. It was messy, weird and purple. It would flicker in and out, form and reform, and just plain weird. So, Karin was initially afraid of her, not being able to get a read of her chakra properly. When she rolled up Karin's sleeve, she was terrified out of her mind. But Shiori's chakra appeared strongly for a bit, and it was seething with rage. It flickered out as soon as it came, and Shiori hugged her. "Don't worry. No one will bite you here." And that put her mind to ease. From then on, she lived in an apartment just below Shiori's. But she wasn't lonely. For some months, Shiori was always hugging her warmly whenever she woke up from her nightmare. She ate the best food of her life, wore the best clothes of her life, and didn't need to drink rice water anymore. She had a blanket in winter, a fan in summer, and she could now even go to school, which she wasn't allowed to before. She learned a new language, how to read and write, how to punch, how to kick, and even impossible things like walking on trees. She then got to know that Shiori can't use chakra. So she thought that she was brought here to heal her. She was now just waiting when Shiori will bite her. It was just a matter of time. But that time never came. She asked Shiori about it, but she just shrugged. "I will only bite my Naruto. No one else." Karin didn't understand why she will bite Naruto, but now she knew that she didn't have to be cautious, scared anymore that she was brought here to be bitten. Now, she wanted Shiori to bite her. She had done so much for her, so Karin will do anything for her. No. She refused. So when Shiori fell asleep while singing her lullaby to drive away the nightmares, Karin made her bite her in her sleep. She weirdly felt happy about being bitten by her, but got scared as Shiori winced in pain, and instead of getting healed, it felt like her condition got worse. Karin had hidden that incident till this day, fearful that she would be chased out by Shiori, her Nei-chan. So she vowed to become so useful that Nei-chan will never chase her out, when she will confess about that night. She sought Guy-sensei who trained Naruto and sometimes Shiori Nei-chan. She learned how to cook. She helped her in household chores. She even worked hard to improve her sensing, to tell about the yin part of chakra for Shiori Nei-chan to help her develop mental seals and work on new. She even kept a lookout for any kidnappings, constantly trying to sense all over the village, which she could finally do after she turned 11 or something. Yet, she was now kidnapped herself. She didn't even know if she could save Shiori Nei-chan from the fake Sasuke, who had the same chakra signature as him but obviously different color. Now, all she knew that she was tied up as a prisoner, and was being used as a chakra battery to revive this scary monster. She could summon herself back to the Tevyutki inside her house in the palace, which Naruto must have kept safe. It was a good thing that she had the seal drawn on the bite marks of her arm, so she could escape any moment she wanted. But she wouldn't, for now. She needed more information about what this monster is, why did the kidnapper attack Shiori Nei-chan, and who the hell was that masked man who tried to put her in the strong genjutsu with the Mangekyo Sharingan, even though she broke out from it due to the Tevyutki seal. For now, she will continue to pretend to be in his control. Sharingan can roughly tell about how much chakra a person has left, can see chakra outside the body, but can't see inside intensely enough to tell if the brain of a person has someone else's chakra affecting him/her. That's Byakugan's speciality. Being with Sasuke had made her learn that much about Sharingan, about Mangekyo Sharingan. Nei-chan. I will protect you. Chapter 112, Waking Up. Shiori's POV. Slowly, I opened my eyes. Shiori-chan, you are awake. Naruto isn't looking that happy. What happened? Oh. Karin got kidnapped. A Zetsu wrapped over her body. That was the last thing I remember seeing before losing consciousness from the explosion. So. At least I know that she will remain alive. Though, why is Obito moving right now, and why did he attack me, and kidnap Karin? Wait a moment. Let me clear my thoughts first, my Naruto. There are many reasons he could have attacked me. Maybe he got the information of my future prediction ability? Or to awaken Naruto in Kurama form, to capture him? Or... I can't think of any other reason. The first reason may be the correct one here. Kurama can only be captured in the last. I doubt he will be able to control Kurama for too long. In Og Naruto, it was mentioned that Akatsuki didn't make a move for about 3 years. But Itachi and Kisame did come to capture Naruto. Honestly, not starting now would be dumb. Suna doesn't have the Kazekage, so why not send another team to capture Gaara while Itachi and Kisame came here? There must be some kind of condition to fulfill for using Gedo Mazo. Maybe it is the ring. Wait. Kisame's ring must be with Naruto in the seal where Kisame's body is stored. Itachi's ring must have been burned by Amaterasu. Maybe it will take time to make the rings again? I will look into it. Or, it could have been a chakra problem? I mean, for sealing by Jayus, it would require immense chakra. And with Kisame gone, wouldn't Karin be the perfect candidate? Karin can tell original person and Zetsu clone apart. But Obito didn't get rid of her, but kidnapped her. So the best reason I can think of is that Obito wants to use her as a chakra battery somehow. So, even if he may put her under strong genjutsu, or drugs, Karin is alive. Her Tavyutki counterpart is with us, so she will be able to escape the first chance she gets. And I don't think that she will die. I haven't modified my seal to use chakra instead of licking yet. But hers operates with chakra. Yet, there is a chance that Obito may just cut off her arm that has the seal to summon, though I think I have hidden it pretty well in the bite marks on her arm. She will remain alive, I am 99% sure of it. But, I can't be fully sure, since that seal on her arm only allows her to summon herself, not the other functions like calling on the counterpart. Or absorbing/storing up to 4A rank raise Nan level jutsus. Now, the next question is, why did Zetsu use Sasuke's face to attack me? Naruto would have been the most effective. If not Naruto, then Karin, Sakura, Yujao, Gai-sensei, Sai, even Shikamaru or Chuji would have been more convenient. Why Sasuke? To manipulate him now that Itachi is dead. Of course. Where is Sasuke? Whoa. I haven't seen this much hatred on Naruto's face in my life. He is now a rogue ninja. Should I tell Tsunade that it wasn't Sasuke? No. That will put me in more danger, if Obito got to know that I can sense Zetsus, even without the barriers that have been keeping them out. Okay. Sasuke, I am sorry, not really, but you will have to remain as a criminal for now. The most I can do is to tell the truth to Naruto, so that he wouldn't kill you. I have to stop giving predictions for now, and lay low. Izumi messing with my brain will be a convenient excuse. And it will also allow me to focus on making money, collecting ninjas, and rebuilding Uzugakure. Alright. Then it's settled now. Chapter 113, Free Funding Source. About a month has passed since that day, and things have started returning to normal slowly. A funeral was held for Karin, I have told Naruto about the Zetsu thing, and our palace has started getting rebuilt, with father-in-law's advice as well. And I got a wig out of my hair, so I can finally go out. We are currently living in an apartment pretty close to the Hoki office, in which we lived when we were kids. Thankfully, I can already see tiny hair, and I look like I am wearing a purple helmet when I look in the mirror. From next week, I will start going on random missions within the village, and training with Yujao. And I will be making security barriers all over the village now. Not very confidential things like ANBU of course. So, around 15 S-rank mission revenue is on my way. Naruto and others are busy with non-stop missions, with Sai replacing Sasuke on Team 7 for the time being. And there is an interesting thing I have heard from Tajuna who is building my palace. Many missing nins have been fleeing from Mist Village to Land of Waves, since a civil war is currently raging there. And that reminded me of Kaio from Kakashi's novel, which should be canon. With Ice release, she should be from Yuki clan. And in the novel, she was strong enough to make things difficult for Kakashi, though he was pretty constrained in what he could do because of the hostages in the aircraft. Still, she became the master of Blood Prison. She should be at least a pretty high Jonin level, somewhere around the level of Asuma. And with her brother, they should be able to cause some problems to Akatsuki, absolutely take care of normal Zetsus as long as I tell them apart, and do odd jobs for me. Nu hasn't woken up for some reason, and I hope either the dragon veins or stones of Galal can do something, if they are canon. The same issue is with cloning Shin. It would be wonderful if I get an army of Shin clones with Mangekyo Sharingan. I am thinking of using Fugaku's Mangekyos, but I have to somehow test his abilities. Well, that is for other me to do. Anyway, my expenses have increased, since Naga requires a huge amount of nutrition. Well, I have let her into that island in the other dimension, but the natural resources will deplete at a very high rate since she is just so big. I have measured her, and she is around 600 m long. And made of Hashirama cells in particular, since those bullshit cells grew exponentially with the healing ability that I have. But it takes too much chakra from me, so I would rather avoid using it. Well, I will have to develop a farm in my palace again. All the vegetables and chickens died in the destruction. I will have to look for a highly breedable species for her to eat. Putting all things aside, I can finally start to earn more money, without the usual selling of seals and all. I will finally start my businesses to not only earn money, but to influence the world. I don't want to become just the queen of Ozu with less money than the 5 major countries. I want to become the most powerful queen. And for all that, I need more capital. The money I have right now isn't enough to become richer than the daimyos. And the less money I have, the slower things will go. So, for that, I smiled at my guest as I brought her tea. Thanks for coming, Grandma. Flug, for some reason, I saw a large bundle of 10,000 ryo notes sitting on the table instead of Tsunade.
Thanks for listening.